Hi everybody, Jo here. Thanks so much for joining me today. Now, I'd like to introduce you to a new sort of topic we're going to be covering, and I'm just going to be popping on I can't even speak, can I? That's good. I'm going to be popping in on a Monday. It's not easy to say that, you know. And what I thought we'd do is we're going to be calling it Mindful Monday. And we're going to be using our stamping, our inking, our inks, and just spending some quality time together. Now, there's a lot in the press at the minute about mindfulness, and really, it's just that thing of relaxing the mind. And I don't know about you, but I mean, yes, crafting can be stressful when we need that emergency card or we have the pressures. But in general, it should be taking us to somewhere else, taking us to just another place where we can relax. And I thought I'd just introduce you to the way my head works about mindfulness. I've told you, it's a strange place, my head. So if you're going to enter into this concept with me, you might want to just heed that warning. Really, I should get you all to sign one of those disclaimers, shouldn't I? But what I thought we'd do is just spend a little bit of quality time together. Now, it's quite funny because on my YouTubes and when I do my workshops, I always say to the ladies, grab yourself a brew and a biscuit. Hence, we came up with that little hashtag brewing cheeky biscuit. And a lot of that comes from when I was a therapy radiographer at Christie's and I did a counselling course. And the first thing I said to all my patients that I counselled, my friends, which is what they became, even though they were patients, was, what do you want to drink? And we'd sit, and I think just giving somebody tea or a coffee or a water, it just helps you relax. It sets that almost that tone, the boundaries. So for me, Monday, 5 o'clock, grab yourself a brew. Now, if it could be you want a glass of wine, do you know what? That's fine. Orange juice, water, tea, coffee. With me, it's got to be a latte macchiato, decaf if possible. But do you know what? Whatever, just get yourself comfortable and let's spend some quality time together. And what I thought we'd do was we'd have a look at journaling. Now, again, please don't panic, don't switch off because of the word journaling. I'm only going to use this as a tool for our mindfulness. It's just a good way of exploring and spending time together. And I'm going to start you on a journey, and we are going to start at route 1 and hopefully build our way up. Now, when people start anything, and don't be scared of the word journaling, do you know what? If you've written a recipe book, if you've done a diary as a child, you've done journaling. I mean, sometimes in the craft world, we get up onto these names and we put different connotations with them. And do you know what? We've all done a bit of journaling. Did you do a scrapbook? Did you do a school project on a scrapbook? Or has a relative had a baby and you've done a scrapbook, or a holiday? You've done journaling. So we've all done it. Now, what I want to show you is I thought we're going to start if you're somebody who's just bought. Now, Lavinia sell these beautiful journals. And again, 2 sizes I'm going to be working on to show you. Because if you're new and you want to explore it, maybe the smaller one. My advice is always start small, no pressure, and then build up. But if you want to explore a larger design, look at this, beautiful. I can't help but stroke it. But I want to show you how I've done the same or a similar design, but taken it as to either size. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. And we're going to start off, as I say, very simple, and then we're going to add some pockets, some tags, some envelopes. We're really going to get into this week by week. So our first one I want to show you, and again, my best tip when you buy a new journal or a book like this, it can be any book, it's tempting to open it and start on the first page. But if we do that, we put ourselves under so much pressure for that first page. My advice is to just let the book open somewhere. So this is the page I'm going to be exploring with you. As I say, very simple. But then I've also, and again, we're in the middle of the journal, so no pressure. And as I say, Nothing that you haven't done before here, and techniques that you've used in card making, but it's just fun to do. Now, if I show you in my larger journal, again, same thing, I just opened, and this is what I came up with in my larger journal. So it's same, but I've just added bit extras. So whatever size you have, you can create this. And I have to say, I love the way this has dried. Can you see the glossy accents? So we've got water droplets on the leaf. Now, the one thing that's important to me about journaling is handwriting, because for me, if, say, I was passed a recipe book down from my grandma, if it was just an actual book, a recipe book, it could be anybody's. If she's handwritten notes in the side, to me it's a piece of her. We don't have enough handwritten. You know, so much that we do now is on email or messenger or phone texts. So for me, so on this one, and again, don't worry about your handwriting. This is yours. A journal originally was done just for you, not to be shown to anybody else. So again, it's up to you when you create your book, your whatever you want to call it. It's up to you whether you show it to anybody else. There's no pressure. You don't have to, because it's all about your feelings. So yesterday, when I created this, I just wrote in here, and this was just straight from my head. Nature is all around us. We just need to open our eyes. Now, I could have written the date, I could have written how I was feeling, but it just needs something handwritten. And on my little one here, look, all I've done is written down the side, Creative Journey by Jo. I don't even know why I did that. I just felt like it at the time. But again, you don't have to explain to anybody how you feel. Again, at Christie's, we used these for our patients if they were having a bad day. They could just, oh look, that one appeared. That was cleaning my stencil. And that I can finish off on another day. And again, that's the beauty of journals. But you know what? Say I came up and I didn't like this when I came to it another day, which was what I was saying. If you're having a bad day and you do something and you work away and you don't like it, you can come back and either keep it and put a little note that this was how you felt when you were having a bad day, or you can put white gesso over it. Again, it's all about how you feel. So I very quickly want to just tell you that in these beautiful sticker stencils here that we've got, we're going to be using the leaf one today, but we have 2 birds and a heart. And I have to say, yesterday, when I was prepping for this, I couldn't resist. And somewhere here, look, I made very, very simple stenciling around my heart stencil. Couldn't resist one of our lovely new stickers with the hairs on. And I used my landscape masks to give myself, and I actually looked up the feeling of love. And love is an intense feeling of deep affection. And again, I just wrote that. And for me, this little book, when I finished it, is something that I'm going to give to Elliot, just my little grandson. And I just want to put, again, when we go places, I'm going to get little stickers from places we've been, and I can stencil around it and write notes for him. And there's little messages, little sentences that he keeps saying, and I can add those. So, you know, you can take this to whatever level you want. So, enough talking by me. But you know what? Mindful Monday is going to be very much about that. And I'm hoping that you talk back to me, that you'll be saying to me, oh, yes, I've done that, Jo, or, oh, no, do you know what? But that's a lovely idea. So let's just open I'm going to work on the larger one. And I'm going to have it quite flat. Now, you have to remember, if you include things like I do here, you may want to take them out if you're going to stamp, but we'll be fine today. And we're going to start with, as I say, this beautiful leaf. And what a lot of people don't procrastinate about a blank page. The first page for me is exciting. And again, for me, I keep it simple, use limited supplies and build up. for me, that's the best advice. But if you're happy, you do what makes you happy. So I'm just going to pop the leaf there. And I'm going to just choose a couple of colours of ink pad. And I'm going to start with my russet orange. Now, it may be difficult getting all this on shot, but I will do my best. I'll hear you if you yell at me. And I'm going to use one of these gorgeous little Lavinia stencil brushes. This is the number 3. And as always, I'm going to take the ink, pop it on the lid. And I want to add some of the orange round the edge. So again, I'll put it on the edge of the mask, look. And I'm just going to work my way round. And if I want some more ink, look, I'll pick that up. And again, there's no pressure here. We're just starting off. And again, it's all about just enjoying yourself, just having fun, or even just relaxing. You know, if maybe you've been looking after somebody. I know quite a few of our crafty friends who have got relatives that they look after. But also I know from meeting you at our open days and from the messages you send me, there are quite a few of you who are unwell yourselves and come towards crafting through ill health. So this will be lovely, something for you to do. Or if you're on your own, just spend, you know, half an hour with me and let's just do something creative together. So there we go. I'm going to just add a little bit deeper down here, almost to build up a bit of shade here. So I like the way that's gone. So I'm going to come in now with my next, this number 7, and I'm using Lime Punch. Now I love this colour. I've been using this quite a lot recently. And again, I'm just going to pick some off the lid. And the paper in this handmade paper is quite textured. So I love this. And it's very forgiving. So no pressure. And then I also want to bring in a little bit of Bermuda. And Bermuda's a darker colour. We're moving over to the dark side. So I'm just checking I've got. Just want to introduce a little bit of that green. And again, I'm taking it off the lid. And then what I'm going to do is come in with my lighter green and just go over the top, just to blend those colours. Want a bit more green there, don't I? And then I've got my good old stencil brush. And it sounds daft, but I'm going to come in with the orange and just go over the top of all of it, just to blend. I just want a little bit more orange in that. And I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is take that off. Look at that. Beautiful. And then because I've got a large area here, I'm actually going to move my stencil. So when I was working in my smaller journal, I just kept it with the leaf in the middle on its own. But this is going to do 2 things. One, I'm cleaning the ink off the side of my stencil, but also I want to make it look as though the leaf is falling across the page. So you see if I can get that ink off there. So I've not put any more ink, I'm using what's on there, and it just makes it look like that. Now let me just see if I can. Now the one thing with this large of the journal is I don't have a lot of space, so again I shall bring it a little bit closer. Can you see? So you've just got that as though the leaf is falling across, and I just think that's so pretty. Now, because this is a larger area, I almost wanted to make just a bit like when you have the spine, you know, when you have books that are bound. So I wanted to add some ink down here. And it did occur to me I could put tape on, but you know what? I can use my Hill masks. And again, I think with this, it's all about using what you've got, the products that you've already got. So with my green, just going to very quickly, well, I say very quickly, obviously the whole point of this is we're enjoying the process, but sometimes certain bits won't take you as long as others. And we'll just, because this is a double page, I've got to be honest, in my journals, focus on this page, but I like to put a little something on the other side, but it's not as bold as this. This is definitely my focal page. There we go. And again, for me, that just, you know, gives me a little bit of something. But these are just all, you know, nice, easy things. And again, using the products that you've got, you don't need a lot of stuff. Use what you've got round your craft room. Now, I must admit, at this stage, I felt there was something missing here. So this is when I decided, and I'm going to turn my page this way, and this paper takes water very, very well. Now, sorry, you know what my throat's like. What I did, and this is quite scary, I decided I was going to add ink to the edge of my paper because it's all hand torn and it looks lovely. But for me, when I did this, it was just a bit too stark. So I'm just going to pop my lids on my inks because I don't want to take water across. So I've got my one of my large lovely watercolour brushes, and if you just wet the edge of your page, and I'm just checking, can you see what I'm doing? But I want this ink to run down. Now, it depends on what you're like as to how much ink. You can also, if you want, put some ink on your mat, pick up some of that and add if you want more water droplets. And we'll just hold that, and you can help them if you want. You can spritz it, but I don't want the whole thing spritzed. I just want this to be quite, the way it dries is just beautiful. And because it's almost nature that takes these drips, I've got no control. Now, while that's wet there, what I do want to do is add some flicks. So while I've got the green ink there, I'm just going to do that thing of adding some ink splats. And I'm putting it across this page, and you won't be able to see, it's just gone off camera, and I'll show you when I've done it, but just across the opposite side. And then I'm going to wipe that up, only because, as I say, I haven't got that much room. And I know you're like me, I know we all work in our little space. But just put a little bit of the orange. I want to bring the orange tones in, and let's add some orange splats. I love the two colours together. Now again, the thing is, you can use a different one of the lovely sticker stencils. You could use different colours. And then I'm also just going to add some water splats here to give texture, even more texture to that leaf. And just with my Inky Binky, I'm just going to wipe up here, otherwise we'll have splats everywhere. So if I just show you, we've got our lovely running at that side, look, that edge. And again, I've done this from the side, but you could always do it from the top. Then you've got your middle spine there, and then we've got our splats on that side. And you're just building up a background here. Now I'm just going to pop my heat tool on. Normally I would let this dry naturally. but I just think we'll give it a little whiz. Normally I would go off and make myself another coffee, but we'll just give it a very quick, and don't worry. And the beautiful of this is that word, don't worry. Look, if it goes through to the next page, it doesn't matter. That gives me a starting point for my next page. So that isn't a problem at all. What I am going to add is this area here just looks a little bit empty to me. I could leave it like this. And again, if I bring the smaller one in, look, I've left it at that. But on the larger one, I just want a little something. So I'm going to come in with sacred spells. And my biggest tip with this stamp is I've put an arrow on the back the number of times I've stamped this upside down. And I'm going to use the VersaFine Clair Verdant. So the dye-based inks, and these will all move with water that I've used already. But now I want a permanent ink, so I'm going to come in with my VersaFine Clair. Now I don't want this on one of our lovely blocks. I want to do this organically, so that means without anything added. And I just want to add, and the hardest bit with this for me is keeping it straight. But I don't want the whole of the stamp. I want the lovely, so some bits, I want it to look, as I say, the best way I can just say is the word organic. I don't want it to look as though we've thought about it too much. And I'm actually going to use that side to go there. So I'm just inking up in my hand. Normally I wouldn't, but because of this here and that one, I can put straight across. And then that will just have a little bit there. And again, I just love the way it's quite in the background. Again, you could do second generation if you wanted. But I like first. I think first gives me enough. I just want a little bit at the top here. Now what I'm actually just going to do is on the other side, add a little bit there and a little bit there, just to fill in those spaces. And again, I will lift this up to show you. So this side, we've got this look, and this. And as I say, this is the side where I would handwrite my message. Or how I'm feeling, or maybe put a photograph in it. And this is the side where I'm doing my artwork. And again, you could, like I say, you can use any colours. And I just want to show you a couple of little finishing tricks. So everything we've done today, these are all things that you can happily do. And we've done them all before. But I want to introduce, like I say, each time a couple of little things, like you may not have done this edging before. So I'm hoping that's new to you. Now, if you wanted, with your fine liner, you could go round the stencil. I'm not going to do that today, because what I'm going to do is I want to add one of these. We've got these gorgeous stickers, and you can tell how gorgeous they are. Look, in fact, let me find, I've got a sheet here that's actually got a full one, look. And they are beautiful. The words on them are just amazing, but they're perfect for this. So for me, I want to go on, say again, good times ahead. I think that's what we're going to go for. Now do check the paper's dry. I think we'll be okay. And my little tip here is, when I can find them, oh there they go, I use my scissors to put my little sticker on, so I can decide where. Now on the smaller one I've popped it here, but I quite like it here, and in fact I like it there because there's almost a space in there. And I love the green going with the green. So with these, I like to take my fine liner and just doodle. Again, don't think about it. If you want to do a bit of that squiggle the heart monitor, if you want to just add some, and again, it's up to you. If you want to put a precise line, I like a bit of doodling. Now I could, if I wanted, do a little bit of doodling down here. And again, it's all about adding your own little bits. So I'm going to doodle there and put a little bow on, look. And speaking of bows, I've got some black thread, which, and again, this is where, you know, like the other week when we used the ribbon out of our tops, this is where you save all your bits of that and you can add all those. So let's just make ourselves, the reason I wanted this in black is because of the wording here. I think if you've got a sentiment in black, you need black somewhere else in the design. As I say, I could go round the leaf, but I don't feel like doing that today. And it's all about how you feel on the day. So I've got my BB glue here. As you know, I struggle saying this, so it's BB from now on. And we're going to stick that there, and that will dry clear. So I'm happy with that. Again, not quite there yet. So what I'm going to do is my white Posca. I'm going to shake it up and then put the pen on the lid. And then I'm going to introduce some circles. And this, again, talk about using what you've got. I just want some of these almost like, you know, coffee stain type. Here we go, look. I don't want to overcook it with them. But because I'm going to be adding some white splats, I'll put one over here. And these are just gorgeous to do. And again, if you've got your white Posca pen, you're using the lid. And if I bring that up to show you, look at that, can you see there? And again, for me, that just adds to this whole, look at those two there. So that's such great fun. And a little thing I do is I have this thing about rusting objects, and I have it in here, look, this lovely tin that my friend Sharon gave me. And look, I have objects in there that I've rusted, and I love adding these to my journal pages. And I just think the colours go beautifully, and it goes on this circle theme. Now, where am I going to put this? But again, just quite like it there, you know. I think it follows that. Oh, maybe we could. Oh, what a shame. If it was larger, I could have actually got the good in the middle of there, couldn't I? Quite like it over that, actually, on the leaf. Do you know what? I'm going to put it there. And believe you me, you'll be like me. You'll talk to yourself. But I think we need another one of these. If we put that there. And then I put that there. Yeah, I like that. So, we'll add some white splats. As I say, we're not overcomplicating this. You could add more stamping if you wish. But I just think with what we've got on here, and I'm going to bring in my glossy accents. But the other thing I like to do is get myself a little clip and some of these gorgeous threads from Lavinia and a clip. And look, I just tie them on and I add some white Posca. But again, the colour goes beautifully. So I'm actually going to put that on here. Don't need to see me thread that, do you? Now, I need something handwritten on here, don't I? So do you know what? Right, good times ahead. And I'm actually going to put on here. Do I write it on this again? Do you know what? I'm actually going to put it up here. And I'm just going to write time spent with friends. And for me, that's what we've done today. I'm going to add that. Now, whether my glossy accents will play today, I have got my umbunga. I love glossy accents, but I don't know about you, it does bung up. We think it needs prunes. So for me, when I'm sticking metal objects, I love glossy accents for this, but also I love the way it dries, look. So I'm going to add a couple of dots as well, so it looks like, now obviously this has to be the last thing because it will take a while to dry. And it'll look like we've got rain. Just change the angle of that till that dries. Now the other thing you can do, you know, did you know you can add glitter to your glossy accents? So I've got metallic bronze here of the mica minerals. Just got to take this off. And what I'm going to do is I've got one of my lovely little coffee stirrers. And if I add a little bit this, because glossy accents is cloudy, isn't it, till it dries. But we can add, and I think the colour will go beautiful. I'm just trying not to cough or sneeze in my pot here. And when that dries, I don't want to put it all over. I'm going to put the lid on. And that was the metallic bronze. Can you see that one? And when that dries, that's our first page. And what I'm going to do is, when that's dry, I'm going to date it over here and make a note. And I'm just hoping that that has given you a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of an idea where to start off. And there's the smaller page. And remember, you've got the opposite. You can use the opposite part of the stencil. And again, got lots of things we can do in there. We can stamp, we can add a sentiment. And I just love these pages to just create and have fun. And there was the heart one. But for me, it's just enjoying time, and I can't wait to fill more and more pages. So I'm going to leave you today with that one, which is drying. And I'm hoping you've enjoyed just spending a little bit of time with me, as we've done time spent with friends. So you take care, and I'm hoping you'll pop back next Monday and we can spend some quality time together, just creating, just catching up, just having a brew and just relaxing. You take care, everybody. I'd love your feedback. Love and hugs from me. See you next week. Bye for now.